Hello. Yeah, the updates haven't really gone the way that I had planned, because treatment hasn't gone the way I planned. Last week was a little bit rough. I was in the ER on the Monday. It was a holiday, but I had a thrombosed hemorrhoid that started doing weird things. So that was 7 hours of my life, but I left there with everything checking out as being okay. Just a lot of pain and unpleasantness. So then the week progressed. Tuesday, I started having a little bit of what I thought was like, excessively bad heartburn when I would walk and try and do stuff. I was getting a little winded. So I just thought that the chemo was giving me nasty heartburn. And then Wednesday, it got a little worse. I was trying to manage it through taking a Pepsid and trying to eat stuff that didn't aggravate my stomach, but I was still having a bit of a problem. Still, when I would walk somewhere or something, I would feel a little bit winded. And then Thursday came along, and I took my morning chemo and went off and did the radiation treatment. And then I came back and I went to go pick up a prescription for a new anti nausea medication because the one I was on wasn't working. So, partway there, I was getting this like horrible pain in my sternum, and I was really out of breath. And by the time I got to the pharmacy, and this is only about 2 blocks, I had to sit down. And then slowly the pain in my sternum kind of subsided. And so I thought, well, that's weird. I don't know what the hell's going on here. It's my heartburn getting that much worse, but this felt a little different because the shortness of breath was a lot more pronounced. So I slowly walked back to the lodge. I was still getting the burning in my chest when I would exert myself, but I went slow enough that, and then it kind of seemed to subside. I took my daily meds and everything seemed to be okay. And then after dinner, I took my nighttime or after dinner dose of Zolota, and about a half an hour later, I just started getting this horrible burning and pain in my chest, and I felt out of breath. And this time, unlike before where it had been happening maybe for, 3 or 4 minutes and then it would back off a little bit, this just kept going. It would happen for 3 or 4 minutes, back off a little bit, and then start up right again. And my roommate, who happened to be an ex-paramedic, started getting really concerned because the pain is getting more and more pronounced and it's not resolving. And finally, after about another half an hour, she decided to phone 911. So that was fun. I get hauled out of here by ambulance, and I get to the ER. And then the pain starts subsiding again like it had done earlier. And this time it subsides for a little while. Meanwhile, they do an EEG, and they're taking my blood, and they're doing all these things looking for signs of a heart attack, because this is, what everybody thought was going on. And it didn't come back for maybe a couple of hours while I was sitting around in the ER, and then it started building again. And by hour 5 in the ER, the next attack was just intense. I've never felt a pain like that. And this is when I actually started becoming concerned, because I didn't really know what was going on. I was in a lot of discomfort, but I'm thinking, well, this has just got to do something with, like my stomach is getting burnt, or but at this point, the pain, and this time the pain spread through my shoulder blades, up through my neck, the back of my head, the back of my body. And yeah, it was just absolutely insanely intense. I can't even describe. I'm not a pain wimp, but this had me in tears. And so, yeah, I mean, and then that eventually did sort of start to resolve, although it didn't really start, it never went back to no pain. They gave me some dexamethasone. They gave me a couple of other things through intravenous. They tried to give me some Dilaudid. I said no. I ended up leaving the ER early because at this point I'd been here for 8 hours or there for 8 hours, and it was 4 in the morning. I had been awake for 26 hours because the burning in my chest had woken me up at 4 a.m. the morning before, and I'd stayed awake. So yeah, it was 24 hours at the 4 a.m. point, but by the time that we got back to the lodge, it was 25 hours, and then by the time I actually managed to fall asleep, it was 26 hours, and I never got the final blood test results before we left. But the ER doc had said, well, we don't think you're having a heart attack. We don't know what's going on, but talk to your oncologist in the morning. So when I woke up at 8 a.m. after only a few hours sleep, I phoned my oncologist right away, the nurse, and then received a phone call back from the oncologist, at which point I guess she had seen the blood results, and I had described to her what I'd been going through. And what she said to me was it was basically I was having heart muscle spasms due to the Xylota, and that all my symptoms fit, and even the way everything progressed fit. And so only 1% of people have this reaction to Xylota, cardiotoxicity. So she told me to stop taking them, which of course I was going to do anyway because I didn't know what was going on, and it was really painful. So that was yeah, and by the next day, by the end of Friday, I felt 100% better. I maybe was a little tired, I was a little weak, but I mean, there was no more burning in my chest, no more pain, just missing 2 Xylota doses, and I felt pretty much back to my normal self. So the plan for this week is that they are going to at some point give me a ultrasound on my heart to make sure that there's no damage or that I don't have an underlying condition. And figuratively, I will be starting some other form of chemo end of this week, early next week. I really don't know yet. I'm waiting to hear from the nurse. I'm waiting to hear from the oncologist. I did get a chance to look at my labs, and they did show elevated numbers of the whatever it's called again. I can't remember, but the numbers that indicate that you've had something happen to your heart on that last blood test. So yeah, there was definitely something going on. There's no sort of further details available to me at this point. I'm waiting for a call from the nurse today to see what is going on. I am not taking chemo right now, which has made me feel considerably better. Even with the radiation pain at this point, beginning of week 3, had 2 treatments this week, is not that bad. It's a little bit of burny. I'm doing my sitz baths. I'm keeping myself creamed up. And honestly, compared to when my hemorrhoid was causing me an issue last week, this is okay too. So yeah, at this point, that's it. I'm just in wait mode. I will continue with the radiation, and we'll see what happens going forward. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'm almost halfway through my treatment, at least what was supposed to be my treatment regime. So I don't know if I can do the rest without chemo. I know that I don't want to do the same class of chemo again because that was just absolutely horrible. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. I think I know what it feels like when you're starting to have a heart attack now. Oh, and yeah, I looked at some during the hemorrhoid episode. They gave me a CT with contrast just to make sure that everything that was coming out of my bottom wasn't related to some type of, abscess or something that was going on inside me. So they gave me another CT with contrast. And unlike my PET scan, this one came back with showing multiple small lesions on my liver, a tumor on my adrenal gland, which is believed to be benign, and emphysema in my lower lungs. Yes, I did used to be a smoker, but I've quit for 2 years now, but that wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, that was interesting too. I have more stuff to ask them because the one that makes me nervous is, of course, the lesions in the liver. My liver numbers have gone kind of haywire. So I don't know if this is resulting from a reaction to the chemo, or I just don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody. I have not met with my medical oncologist since I came down here for treatment. And I haven't met with any oncologist actually since my treatment has begun, but I did get to see the radio oncologist a couple times before I started treatment. So I'm kind of, feeling like right now I need to touch base. And I'd really like to talk to somebody. But that's where I am. That's why I haven't really done any updates, because last week was a bit of a shit show. And I had all these ideas of what I was going to do, what I was going to say. And then I just kind of got blindsided all week and felt horrible. And so this week I'm feeling a little bit better. Hopefully I'll get back on track too. But I'm still here. I'm still doing the radiation, and for the time being, at least for Monday, Tuesday this week, so far so good, knock on wood. And the lodge here is great. The weather seems to finally be turning into spring, so who knows, maybe everything's on the up and up. Anyway, that's my update for now. Okay, bye.